What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to answer probably my most asked question, which is when it comes to diet, how to get started. So I mean, really to begin with, there's no need to like overcomplicate things. You know, at the core of the issue is move more, eat less. You can do either one or you can do both. You know, but Rich, what about lifting weights? I mean, strength training is absolutely, you know, a great add. You build more muscle, it burns more fat. But to really like get the scale moving right off the bat, a caloric deficit is going to be how that's going to happen. So you can do that through eating less and or moving more. I lost over 125 pounds in a very short period of time, and I managed to keep it off. I did that by starting simple. First, I just cut out the obvious things that, you know, were easy to cut out. No fast food. I stopped eating pizza. I stopped, you know, having seconds. I stopped overloading my plate. You know, cut out obvious things like, you know, why add a whole bunch of butter? Why not use skim milk instead of heavy cream? Why not, you know, just cutting out obvious things, and the scale started moving. And then I also got myself moving. You know, I started walking, I started doing the row machine, I did the exercise bike. I actually liked jogging. I like jogging. It was, you know, something I implemented, but you know, walking is just fine. Riding an exercise bike, riding a regular bicycle. Really, the mode of cardio that you enjoy is the one that you should do. As far as like, you know, but what do I eat and how do I know? As I said, at first, you know, I made obvious moves. I stopped having seconds. I stopped overloading my plate. I just, you know, did a little bit of portion control. You know, I started, you know, denying myself eating a bunch of snacks right before bed, things like that. We all hit plateaus when it comes to weight loss. Weight loss is never linear. It's always, you know, steps. It's a stair stepper. And every time I would hit a plateau, I would either eat less or move more. So I eventually reached the point where it's like, in order for you to know that you're losing weight and to know how much you're gonna lose, you need to know what you're intaking. You know, a lot of people have an aversion to the food scale and to measuring and weighing food. You know, it just seems weird or funny or odd, or I don't want to be one of those people. Look at it like this. The best chefs in the world, the best cookies you've ever had, the best brownies you've ever had, those were made by weighing and measuring. I guarantee you that they weren't eyeballing those. In order to make a baking recipe come out right, you need to weigh and measure those ingredients. If you put too much baking powder, they're not gonna come out right. If you don't put enough sugar, they're not gonna come out right. If you're just eyeballing the flour, they may not come out right. So to create the best, most delicious cookies or brownies or whatever, you need to weigh and measure. If you want to sculpt the best physique of your life, why is it so odd? Why is it so weird? Why do you have such an aversion to weighing and measuring your food? If you want to create the best and be the best version of you, you need data in order to make these calls, and you need to know what you're intaking. I didn't start that way, but when I hit a plateau, I eventually reached the point where I realized that I had to start being accountable for what was going in. To know, because if I'm doing all this exercise, if I'm doing all this strength training, and I'm doing all this, and I'm not losing weight, you know, I'll eventually give up on it, you know, just like anybody else. But I wanted to stay motivated, and to do that, I wanted the scale to keep moving. And to do that, I needed to know what was going in so that I was certain that my hard work wasn't for nothing, all right? So, download an app. There's plenty of good ones out there. There's one by Fat Secret. There's another one, MyFitnessPal, that, you know, the vast majority of it, there's tons of great apps out there. Download some kind of app. A lot of these apps like have all your common foods built in. If you're gonna eat a Chick-fil-A sandwich, it's in there. If you're gonna eat a tzatziki sauce from Market Side from Walmart, it's gonna be in there. You know, Publix brand chicken, it's gonna be in there, you know? These common things are in there, and they will let you know exactly what you're putting in. So if you know exactly what you're putting in, you can learn exactly what you need to do to be in a calorie deficit. And at the end of the day, the calorie deficit is how you lose weight. Now, so where I started was I took the best piece of advice that I'd gotten, which was simply record what you're eating every day for a week and monitor your weight. Your weight fluctuates, all right? So you wanna always weigh yourself, after you use the bathroom in the morning. There'll still be some fluctuations, what's in your GI tract, how much, fluid you've had, water can be one of the greatest, my weight can actually vary 8 or 9 pounds in a day because a gallon of water weighs over 8 pounds. So there's gonna be fluctuations, but you take that average and see if on average your weight is going up or going down over the course of that week that you're recording. As you're recording, you'll figure out what your daily calories are. If your weight's going up, then you're in a surplus. If your weight's going down, then you're in a deficit. But at least you know where your baseline is at. Once you know your baseline, then you can create a diet that can add or subtract calories from that so that you can assure yourself that you're in a deficit. And you can be in a deficit either by adding cardio or subtracting calories from what you're eating. There's 2 schools of thought on that. I mean, sometimes you want to eat more and burn more. Sometimes you may not have the energy, whether it be from work or your workouts or whatever, and you just can't add any more cardio and you just decide to take it from your diet. There's no wrong answer here. A deficit doesn't care which direction it comes from. Now, with that being said, over time, you got to realize that your metabolism is created in order to stave off starvation for yourself. So where your maintenance is, after a long period of dieting, it will actually come down and adapt to that diet. And what used to be a deficit will no longer be a deficit anymore. So we implement what's called a diet break, or we can implement reverse dieting, which is where you hit a plateau. Your calories are so low, you really can't cut any more from them. You really can't do any more cardio, but you're still not at your goal weight yet. So at that point, you take a break. You don't go right back to your old maintenance because your old maintenance is no longer your maintenance. What I've done is done what's called a reverse diet, which is where I stop at that level of dieting and I start adding 200 calories each week to my daily and monitor my weight. If your weight stays stable, then you can continue to add 100 to 200 calories each week to your daily. If it starts going up, then you can back off just a little bit or ride at that level for another week or 2 until your metabolism catches up. But slowly your metabolism will catch up and your maintenance will continue to rise. Then once you're at a more comfortable maintenance and you're ready to diet again, then you have a larger maintenance number to cut from and you can start your cut again. Like I said, dieting's not just a straight line. It never is. It's got steps, And at times on my journey, I'd even gain a couple of pounds here and there while I was reverse dieting. But by raising my baseline again, I had a larger number to cut from. And those couple pounds came right off. As soon as I started the diet again, those pounds came right off. I just finished a bulk. I gained 19 pounds in 90 days. I've already, in just the first 2 weeks, taken off 13 pounds. Now, this is very drastic. This is not typical results. I had a 5,000 calorie maintenance and have cut well over 2,000 calories, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone. But I know my body. I'm making sure I'm, taking in the proper amounts of carbs and protein in order to sustain myself, in order to sustain my muscle mass, and in order to sustain what I'm doing. And some of this weight is water, absolutely. When you're eating in a surplus, you tend to take on a little bit more water weight. When you start increasing cardio and cutting calories and all of that, you lose a little water weight too. So some of it's water, some of it's fat. Either way, I'm looking much better. I'm actually lighter. But the point is that fat that I gained some muscle and some fat, but that fat that I gained is coming right off because that maintenance number got so high that when I'm cutting from it, man, those first few pounds just melt right off. So all I say is, don't overwhelm yourself. Just get started today. Eat less, move more. When you hit a wall, dial it in. When you hit a wall, dial it in. Add a little more cardio, take a few more calories away. Eventually, try to take careful look at what you're eating exactly. Get an app, measure and weigh your food, and you don't have to do it for life. I'm telling you, at this point right now, I could make my meals and be within 500 calories with just eyeballing them at this point because I've weighed for so long, weighed and measured, weighed and measured, weighed and measured. Now, I'm a bodybuilder, so 500 calories is not close enough. I need to be more dialed in than that. So I still weigh and measure. But for your typical person, being within 400 or 500 calories, you can just continue to monitor the scale and make your adjustments as necessary. Don't overwhelm yourself. Get started today. Keep things simple. If there's anything I can do to help, feel free to reach out to me in the messages. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, send me a message, and just remember, we get better together, and you can't outbeast the monster. Love you guys.